Everyone, it's Emily Fox. Today's video is going to be the continuation of our search for the best drugstore foundation. Basically, I'm doing 10 days of wear tests of all the best-selling drugstore foundations, and I am going to link the playlist down below. And at the end, I'm doing a wrap-up, kind of letting you know the best and worst, but then you can actually see them on my skin throughout those 10 days. So, today we are testing the Physicians Formula, the Healthy Foundation. This one is not a first impression. I've definitely wore this quite a few times in the past, but I feel like it's been a little bit of a while. Oops. Okay. So I'm going to show you what it looks like on my skin, half my face, going from the window with natural lighting and everything. So let me start by just applying a little swatch on my hand because it does oxidize if I remember correctly. So I want to show you what that will look like. So I have been wearing the shade LN4, but I also have a second one which I'll swatch. Okay, so this one is the LN4 and the other one is LC1. So I'm going to let them be oxidized and everything, and then I'm going to come back afterwards to just show you how much they oxidize, because I feel like if you're going to buy at the drugstore, sometimes you can't swatch anything, and it's good to know if you have to go like 2-3 shades lighter if you don't want to look like a Oompa Loompa. So let's try the application. Let me zoom you in. Okay, so I reduced the lighting. Hopefully that's going to be perfect so you can actually see my skin, but again, I'll do a close-up in natural lighting in a bit. Clearly, the packaging is not the best. It keeps doing this on this one. And if you didn't know, it comes with a humongous applicator that I resent. I feel like it looks like it's a pump, right? And I feel like it makes it even worse. Why? I don't understand. I feel like every foundation should come with a pump, or at least don't put this. It just annoys me. So I'm going to apply it on half my face to show you the coverage, but I have pretty good skin right now. But still, I feel like I always get comments saying, oh, your concealers are in the same like applicator. Why does it bother you with the foundation? It's because I have to dip back multiple times, and obviously the thing being broken, it's not helping. And it's just annoying, to be honest. I feel like, why go through the trouble of having this when you can just have a pump? I don't get it. It does have a like scent that I tend to call paint, because that's the only way I can think of describing it. But I don't smell it once it's been on my skin, so still good to know if you're very sensitive to scents. Let me try to... I'm using a sponge because I always do, because it gives me the most natural results, which is what I'm after. This foundation claims to be good for like every skin type, and I feel like every foundation does that nowadays, but it's not always the case. I have combination skin. I get oily in my T-zone, but I have some dehydration mostly around my nose, but sometimes some foundation look bad everywhere. So if you have dry skin, you'll also know if that's a foundation for you or not. But I feel like this one is actually something that can claim to be good for most people. So you can see that the color seems to be a pretty good match for me. It looks kind of matte on its own. So I feel like if you have dry skin, you can pull this off without powder, which you probably already do. But it still gives you a very natural skin finish, like actually. So hopefully you can see the difference. Like it definitely evened out my skin. Didn't fully cover every redness, but still made it look like, you know, more even, which is what I want on a daily basis. I can't feel it on my skin. It doesn't overly emphasize my pores or the dry patches on my nose. It's just a good everyday foundation, to be honest. It has a pretty decent range of color too, 16 shades, which is so much better than all their other skin products. I feel like they usually had like 2-3 shades or something like that. So 16 is definitely much better, and it's even too. It's like 4 light, 4 medium, 4 dark, 4 deep. So that's good too. Okay. I feel like at this point I'm like almost applying it everywhere, but honestly I really like this foundation. It just looks really nice on its own. You don't necessarily have to powder. I will apply a tiny bit of loose powder because I always do, and I want it to be consistent, but I feel like this could be a really nice everyday foundation for a lot of different people. Let me just show you though that it does oxidize, because it's almost dry and you can already tell the difference. So I re-swatched them right underneath each other, and you can definitely tell that they do oxidize. It's not straight up super peach, which I feel like happens way too often with drugstore foundations, but it definitely becomes like a few shades darker. But I bought these online actually, and online I felt like the swatches were pretty accurate, and the fact that there's the undertone definitely helps. Although I do want to say that I think this was the lightest one. I'll confirm on the screen, but this is like C1, so I do feel like it's a bit peachy for being cool tone. I feel like they tend to be, again, at drugstore quite peachy instead of going with pink, but just hopefully the swatches are helpful here. So I'm gonna go on and apply the rest of my makeup, and I will bring you close to the window. So I was doing a lip swatch video and completely lost track of time, and it's been like 5 hours since I've applied foundation, so it's about time I do this close up in front of a window. It's raining, but the lighting should be still very unforgiving, which is what we want for this video. Hopefully you can see the texture of my nose. It's actually not looking bad. So many foundation tend to like, I mean, if you've seen any of these other videos, some of them are just not looking great on my nose. And my skin still looks really flawless. It looks great all over my face, my forehead, around my mouth. Let's forget the reverse Joker going on because of the lip swatch video, but it looks really great. I barely applied any powder. I'm probably approaching a moment where I will start feeling the need to. About 6 hours is usually when I start wanting to repowder foundation, but I won't for this video, obviously. So like I was saying, I don't feel on my face. It's fairly matte. Overall, it's just a great foundation, so I will see you a little bit later. So it is now almost 11 hours later, and I wanted to update you. You can probably tell that I am very shiny right now. I would say today was like really humid. It was raining all day, so I feel like I've been wanting to repowder more than I would normally. I don't feel like the rest of my face is really oily, except mostly my forehead, which is where I usually am really, and a little bit on my nose and chin. So you can see that the foundation is still all over my face. It didn't disappear or anything. It doesn't look worse on my nose. I'm definitely, again, very shiny, but it's not that big of a deal. The foundation didn't separate or anything. Before I talk more, let me just do what I've been dreaming of doing for hours. Because the foundation is still staying really nicely. I don't feel like it was transferring like crazy or anything. It's just that I could feel it on my skin because of the humidity. And as you can see, there's no transfer. It was dirty, but like this is where I used it. There's no transfer. It definitely stays really well throughout the day. I'm just really a fan of the foundation, except for the stupid no pump and applicator. Why? So overall, it's a great foundation. I feel like even throughout the day, like the rest of my face that isn't oily almost still had that like powdery look. So if you have dry skin, you definitely can skip powder with this foundation. It's going to be mostly a question of finding the right shade in store, considering that it does oxidize. But I feel like online, the reviews, the swatches available were enough for me to be able to find a shade that worked for me. So this is going to be it for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe because you definitely don't want to miss out the wrap up at the end. Don't forget to give it a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to also check out any videos that I've done that I recommend you check out. Wow, it is late. I am so tired. I will see you in my next video. Bye.